What's up, Cal fans? I'm here with our new athletic director, Jim Knowlton. We've had the pleasure to meet before, but this is kind of our first time sitting down, and we're going to talk some books and reading and a passion that we both share.
Well, first of all, I'm really nervous after I saw what you did to Coach Wilcox, so I'm hoping you're going to go easy on me today, but really I'm excited. And this is a great opportunity, and I think for all of our Cal fans, this is a perfect example of how a student athlete can really have a positive impact on our community, on our kids, and this reading program that Patrick has been working on with 3,500 kids signed up now is amazing, and it really has generated some excitement, so I couldn't be more proud of what you've done and really how our Cal fans have gotten behind it. I know a lot of our Cal fans have been writing me saying, my kids are in. My son and my daughter saw Patrick talk at the school and are very excited to participate in the program. And again, reading 4 or 6 books, depending on how old you are, is fantastic. And getting 4 free tickets to a Bears game is even better.
Right.
So, yeah, fantastic. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say, without the backing of the Cal Athletic Department, none of this could be possible, so I appreciate that. So one of the things that I've loved about the challenge has been, hearing what people like to read and what type of books people are into and how it's impacted their life. So I'm wondering if you have a book that you would recommend, like what's your go-to recommendation, or do you have a book that's really impacted your life?
Well, I think in my business, and I think I've been running organizations now for about 20 years, one of my go-to has always been Good to Great.
Okay.
And I've used that with our organizations, and now there's multiple other Good to Great sequels. But that first book really helped me as I talked to organizations about what you need to do to really sustain greatness. And you can be good, you can be great every once in a while, but if you want to sustain greatness, that's a great book to read. And I think it's a good book to read, but it's also a really good book to talk about as an organization. And so at some point in time, once I get my feet on the ground, I haven't made it to my end of my 2nd month yet, but we'll incorporate that in what we're doing here in the department. Yeah,
I was going to ask, are you a person that likes to assign reading to your employees and kind of get everyone on the same page?
I do more. I do a lot of reading out of Forbes and other leadership magazines, and so I'll paste them, I'll cut them, I'll print them and send them out to our team. So yeah, I think I've done 1 so far. I've got 3 in the queue, and they'll get a little bit each week about what I'd like them to read, what I'd like them to think about, and how we really can go on a journey from good to great here in Cal Athletics.
Awesome. I'd love to hear that. I'll be a supporter when I become an alumni.
Fantastic.
I like that program. Are you into fiction at all? Do you have any fiction?
Well, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I like Nicholas Sparks.
Okay.
So what I try to do is read an educational one and then a fun one. And so Nicholas Sparks is a good one on a plane, as long as you don't mind crying a little bit while you're on a plane. But yeah, I really try to.
Who's recommending those Nicholas Sparks?
My wife.
To you? Your wife. Okay.
My wife hands them off to me, and so she puts them in my bag when I go on a trip.
You think she's trying to give you a little hint on how you're supposed to act?
Probably. I probably could be a little bit better in that arena, more appreciative. But yeah, it's and I enjoy them. So between that and the Hallmark movies that she loves to watch, that gets me in touch to my other side a little bit.
Okay. Interesting question that some people like to think about. If you were to write a book, what type of book do you see yourself writing? Do you do an autobiography? Is your life interesting enough?
I don't know if an autobiography would really cut it.
Okay.
I've had an interesting life. I've had a lot of fun things. I think leadership is really what I have spent pretty much most of my life studying. I'm very interested in leadership. While I was at West Point, I probably read everything on George Patton that I could find, and so I think that would be a book that would interest me. And I think every day I'm assessing not only what I'm doing, but what all the people around me are doing. And in fact, yesterday I talked to our leadership development team, which is our mid-level managers who get together every month and talk about how can we get better as leaders because they aspire to run organizations. And so it was fun, and I love the fact that people are continuing to educate themselves on leadership.
Yeah, so I just took a leadership course in the business school last semester with Dan Mulhern, great professor if anyone's looking for a good class to take. And we read, I felt like everything in the leadership realm. I mean, but there's so much. So if you were to write a leadership book, how would you differentiate yourself from the millions of other leadership books that that you've read in the past?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think the leadership book that I would write would be based on not only what I've read, but also my experiences. And I think there's no substitute for the experiences leading organizations, because some of it's the school of hard knocks. You'd like to say that every decision you make is a great decision, but some of those decisions, when you get a chance to reflect on them, you say, boy, I could have handled that a little better. And I think between my time in the military, my time leading athletic departments, my time in the classroom teaching civil engineering, I've seen leadership in many different ways. And I think that maybe that book would be interesting to at least a couple people. What was your favorite book when you were in that leadership class?
I think so. We read this book, Positive Leadership, Kim Cameron. I think that's the correct title. I know it's Kim Cameron is the author, and his idea is that positive reinforcement. When there's good behavior, and you let someone know that it was good behavior, they're more likely to repeat that long term. One of my coaches on our team, our running back coach, Coach Toller, he's all about positive reinforcement.
Perfect.
And he kind of instills that into the running backs at least. And so when I was reading that, I was like, okay, this is something that he does well. This is something that Coach Wilcox does well. When you do something wrong, they correct it. But it's, when you do something right, they give you some positive reinforcement. So I like that aspect of it, because I try to be a good teammate. And, if you're the teammate that just yells at your teammates all the time about something they did wrong, at some point they're just going to turn you off. They're not going to listen to you. And so I just try to, if someone does something wrong, you correct it. But when they do something right, you make sure to let them know so they continue to do it. This challenge is directed for kids 1st through 6th grade. We were talking a little bit before this about how you used to read Dr. Seuss. You could maybe repeat some of those verbatim. Do you have any books that you remember from your childhood? Might have been a long time ago. But
come on now, not that way. You said you were going to go easy on me.
I know, I couldn't help. But no, or maybe not from your childhood, but something that you read to your kids or your kids really enjoyed.
So my favorite book for my kids was The White Buffalo. It was just one of those books that had been passed down through our family. My family read it to me, and then I read it to our kids. And it was one of those that our kids remember to this day, like, really? Dad, we loved that book. And so that was a good one. And then Dr. Seuss was our go-to. And with 5 sons and reading every night, I fell asleep to many Dr. Seuss books, probably more times than my kids fell. They probably were still awake while I was, Dad, come on, keep reading.
Keep reading.
But those were always fun books as well. And then it became the Boxcar Mysteries, and as they continued to get better, become better readers.
Right. Part of the fun in this challenge has been going and speaking to these kids, and they yell out their favorite books. And one that I totally forgot that I was really into the series, Captain Underpants. I mean, it wouldn't interest you now, but for some reason, like when I was in 3rd, 4th grade, Captain Underpants was like my favorite series, and I had no idea until one of the kids in the crowd yelled it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember reading that. So that's been a big joy of this, is just rediscovering some of the things that I loved to read when I was younger. Really nice. An athletic director, some might call that the pinnacle of a career. How do you think reading or education or learning has helped you reach what some would consider like a dream job?
That's a great question. I think for anybody in our business, if you're not reading and learning every day, you're falling behind. And my morning coffee every morning is the D1 Ticker, where I get to read about everything that's happening in college athletics. And so this morning I spent an hour reading about University of New Mexico and their Title IX and their cutting sports. And you say, wow, that's a tough spot for an organization to be in, and it's one that we do not want to be in. We're working so hard to balance our budget to support 30 sports, and I think you learn a lot by reading every day, and I highly encourage it. And that's why I think I really love the program that you've been working on, because if you teach youngsters how important and how fun and how educational reading can be, and you make it fun, and oh, by the way, you're going to get tickets to a football game, boy, that's a great incentive and a great habit to build as a young man or really a girl or boy, that can be something and a passion for life that will help you always learn and continue your education. So I think it's fantastic, and for me, I've always got at least a book or two going at
Glad
once.
to hear. Yeah.
Dean Lyons just gave me a great book that I just started 2 nights ago, Creating Signature Stories.
Okay.
And,
he's a great speaker, great storyteller.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
So I need to definitely get that
so
book.
I'll share that one with you. He
yes,
sent me with a nice note on the front, and if you don't know Dean Lyons, he's the dean of the business school, and this book really is how do you tell great stories.
I need that.
Yep. So I'll share that with you.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, another great thing about this challenge has been, you know, being a different voice for these kids. They hear their parents, they hear their teachers all the time, and I'm just trying to be this, you know, a little younger. Sometimes these kids think I'm way too old, but a little younger voice to say, hey, I'm in college. It wasn't too long ago. I was in elementary school, and reading's important. If you want to, you know, get to college one day, this is what you got to do. For me, I see a person like you, a person like Dean Lyons. You know, you're still reading to this day, so it's inspiring for me, and makes me happy that I have this passion, and I'd like it to continue.
Well, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you're doing, and keep up the great work. And I'm looking forward to watching you on the gridiron as well.
I appreciate it.
Patrick, good luck, and
thank you.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim Knowlton, for sitting down with me, talking about our passion of reading. Sign-ups are still open for my reading challenge at walkonthenrun.com. And sign up, join the challenge, get the reading hours in, and I'll see you all September 1st against North Carolina. Go Bears.